Hi everyone, Daniel here, and today I will be talking about the Sony Xperia XZ2 Compact. Now in a previous video I talked about my last phone, which is the OnePlus 5T, and one of my only major complaints with this phone was the fact of how big it is. It is impossible to use with one hand. So in 2018 I searched for the smallest high-end phone out there, and really the only option in 2018 was the XZ2 Compact. So today I'm going to talk about a few things I like about the phone and then a few things I dislike about the phone after using it for about a year. Now, first thing I like about the phone is of course the ergonomics, the reason I got the phone. This is hands down the best one-handed phone I have ever owned. It has a 5-inch 18:9 display. I can very easily, comfortably hold it in one hand, reach across the entire display with my thumb. I can also easily reach the top of the phone with my thumb to pull down for notifications. This is all in part as well due to the physical design of the phone. So there's a metal edge all the way around that is nicely curved, and the back of the phone is also curved almost like a pillow-like shape to the back of the phone. While yes, it is very thick phone at 12 millimeters, I think that's actually an advantage to this phone because it just rests really well in your fingers. With other very large phones, you're often gripping it only by the sides. Your fingers aren't making contact with the rear of the phone. It's not the case here with the XZ2 Compact. Fits really nicely in the hand and feels really comfortable while using it. That being said, I do think there is one downside to the design of this phone, and that is the weight, or more specifically, the weight distribution in your hand when you're holding it. It weighs 168 grams, which is about on par with other high-end phones, but because it's such a narrow phone due to the screen size, the weight distribution on your hand is much more centralized, if that makes sense. It's not as distributed across your hand as it would be on a larger phone. So given the footprint of the phone, the height and width of it in your hand, it feels much heavier than it should be, and it is something I still haven't really gotten used to using this phone for about a year. So while it's not a heavy phone, just the weight and feel in the hand, it just feels like a little too much given the size of the phone. But another aspect of the design of the XZ2 Compact that I really like are the front-facing speakers. So 2 phones ago, I had a phone with a front-facing speaker. My previous phone, the OnePlus 5T, had a bottom-firing speaker. And then getting this phone, going back to one with front-facing speakers, just cemented for me the fact that all phones should have front-facing speakers. Just makes the experience of using a smartphone much better whenever you're watching videos or listening to music, whatever you may be doing on your smartphone. Utilizing those speakers, having them facing you while you have audio coming out of your phone is just so much better, and I still don't know why all smartphones do not have front-facing speakers. I really think they should. Speaking of audio, one thing I have to point out that is really bad about this phone, there is no headphone jack to be found anywhere on this phone. Following the trend from many other manufacturers, many other smartphones on the market today, it does not have a headphone jack, and that is completely unacceptable and is anti-consumer and needs to stop. Yes, this phone is IP68 water and dust resistant, but it's not impossible to get that sort of rating and achieve water resistance with a phone while still having a headphone jack. And so I really have to ding this phone for not having a headphone jack. It does come with a USB-C to 3.5 millimeter adapter in the box, which is somewhat considerate, but I still think that no headphone jack on phones is just completely anti-consumer and needs to stop. So one final design aspect of this phone I really like is the hardware camera button. So this is my first Sony phone, and I know previous Xperia smartphones have had a shutter button, but I am coming from a long time ago, Windows phones and the Nokia Lumia series, which all had a camera button on those high-end phones. So this is the first Android phone I've had with a camera shutter button, and it works exactly as you would expect. If the phone is locked, you can hold down the camera button to immediately launch the camera, or when you're in the camera app, it is of course a two-stage shutter button. So you press it down once to get focus, and then you press it again to take the picture, or you can just press it really quickly for it to focus and take a picture. I really like this, and I am still to this day completely baffled as to why this isn't on more smartphones. Smartphones have only gotten larger and taller. There's plenty of space on the side of the phone. Android can obviously be customized to accommodate for that button, so I just do not know why more smartphones don't have it, especially when every release they always promote, we've got a better camera, it's so good, it's gonna take amazing pictures, and yet there's no quick way to access it. You have to resort to double tapping the power button or swiping a button on the lock screen in order to get to the camera quickly. The quickest way is just to have a button on there. And I really appreciate that Sony has continued to put the camera shutter button on their phones. And so finally, I really need to talk about the software on this phone. It originally launched with Android 8 Oreo, and I had a lot of problems with GPS and the camera software and Bluetooth. So let's go through those there one at a time. So the GPS, had major problems with the GPS knowing where I was exactly. The GPS would be able to get a fix on my location, but like if I was driving using GPS, turn-by-turn directions, the camera on GPS, multiple GPS softwares, was constantly zooming in and out because it didn't quite know where I was. Also a problem with location-based games like Pokemon Go, not being able to get a solid lock on my GPS location, so it's also having problems playing those sorts of games. When I updated it to Android 9 Pie, it seemed to get a little bit better, but GPS is still kind of janky, and I don't know why, because I've used the same SIM card, same network, same apps on other phones, and they all work fine on other phones. It seems to be something up with the GPS on this phone. I don't know why, but it was super annoying having to deal with that. Also, the camera software. So for some reason, the camera software the camera app likes to crash a lot on this phone, and I'm not sure if it's a bug or if it's intentional. I say that because Sony has a lot of battery saving features on their phones, far more extensive than what you'll find in a standard install of Android. So I don't know if they just secretly baked in shutting down the camera app when it's been open and unused for too long, because having the camera app open will drain a lot of battery. But the camera on this is really good and actually offers pretty good slow motion capturing features, but it's a very tight window to get that slow motion capture. So I like to have the camera open waiting for that moment to get that slow motion. But if you have it open for more than a minute or two, the camera crashes and you have to relaunch it and get back into that slow motion video mode, and you can miss the moment. So the fact that the camera crashes on this is bad and goes against the features they're trying to push with the camera on this phone. Again, I don't know if it's just like a hidden baked in thing that they did to conserve battery life, or if it's a bug, but either way, it's a bad user experience for the camera sometimes if you have it open for what it would be too long. And then finally, the Bluetooth. I've had some minor issues where both on Android 8 and Android 9, it does not connect to some Bluetooth devices. Bluetooth Bluetooth devices I don't have issues with on other phones. Don't know why, but I'm having an issue with that on this phone, and it's kind of annoying. So yeah, that's about all I have to say about the XZ2 Compact. So final verdict, is it the phone that I was looking for? Yes. But is it the phone I want? I'm gonna have to say no. I feel like the screen size of this phone is just too small for me. Again, it's a 5-inch 18:9 display. Compared to a more traditional 16:9 display, it's equivalent to a 4.7-inch phone. So think of like the older iPhones, the iPhone 6 and iPhone 7. It has a similar height and width footprint of those phones. And when it comes to things like using GPS turn-by-turn directions or watching videos, which I do a lot of, the screen on this phone is just too small for me. I still think my ideal smartphone size is a 5-inch 16:9 display. Still small enough where you can use it with one hand without too many issues, but also large enough where looking at GPS while you're in the car or you're watching videos with the phone arm's length away, it's still a decent size. So I think it's a good compromise between, a 5-inch phone is a good compromise between viewing pleasure and one-handed usability. And so while it's not a terrible phone, especially these days, you can get it at a much cheaper price than when it came out. If you're looking for a small phone, this is one of the very few out there with modern specs, modern high-end specs that you can get, and I don't think it would be a bad buy if you can get it for like $300 to $400. But I'm gonna part ways with it because it's just not doing it for me. But that's it for me. What is your ideal smartphone size? Let me know in the comments below. Feel free to subscribe if you want to find out what my next smartphone is. And thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.